I hear the call of the stars.
G'day everyone, Duckville here. Welcome to game number 2 between ThisIsJimmy and Slayer's Ganji. This is going to be on Zelnaga Cabins. Of course, as we can see here, we have the very scenic little spikes and the cabins and all that sort of jazz. And this is going to be, yeah, of course, game number 2. We saw in game number 1, Jimmy just unfortunately falling quite far behind in the economy stakes and just losing out to the massive capability and production of our Blue Terran, who's down here, Slayer's Ganji, and just falling to massive amounts of Marines. We saw a drop inside the main base. We saw some Hellions right at the start, which caused some just a little bit of harass. Not a huge amount of damage, but definitely a lot of problems there for Jimmy. But we'll see what happens here in game number 2. We've got just a standard sort of opening for both of these players, getting that supply depot up, and nothing too cheesy just for the moment. So just not really sure what to expect out of this game, of course, because Jimmy needs to win this one if he's going to stay. I believe this was from the losers bracket, but he needs to win this if he is going to actually stay in the tournament here at MLG Anaheim 2011. And we'll see what he does get up to, whether he's going to play safe or whether he's going to play risky. Not too sure, but we'll find out in just a moment. But speaking of MLG, thank you very much to the MLG team for setting me up with some of these replays that you can see here on the MLG website. It's been good to get those done, and of course a great thing to actually get all of these sorts of things out to the community. But speaking of getting things out, we do have this SCV. What is this guy doing? He's just sort of heading up here to the top side of the map, putting down a proxy racks outside behind the grass. So we'll have to see if Jimmy is prepared for something like this. He does have a gas going down, looking to be doing a standard sort of build here, and we'll see what Ganji is going to get up to. This could get quite interesting here. We'll probably see some Marines start getting pumped out here from Ganji. Yes, we do. There it is, and it's going to be rallied right up the top there behind the grass as well. I'm not really sure if it's going to get that far before it gets into battle, but we'll see if Ganji is going to push in with that and do just absolutely commit to an all-in here, or whether he is going to actually just do some pressure. But the SCV now finally scouting here from Jimmy, going to come up to the front ramp of Ganji, and not going to see that Marine running up, but is going to see that there's a standard sort of wall here from Ganji, so not going to be aware that there's anything too scary about to come through from Ganji. But what's Jimmy going to do to prepare for this? He really needs a bunker at the top of the ramp. If he can get one up, he should be in a decent spot to actually protect against this attack, but we'll see if he's going to be prepared for it. Unfortunately, going to lose this SCV. There it goes, and now this extra Marine is going to be free to run up to the base, up to the top. And now with these extra Marines now coming out of this proxy racks, he's going to be in a really good spot. So we'll see if Jimmy is prepared. Let's see what he saw on the vision, and nothing at all because of that wall, along with that Marine actually scouting out. So what have we got coming here from Jimmy? He's still sticking with this one racks. He does have a Reaper coming out, which may help, but not going to help too much. Attempting to go for that command center there. Now going to have to build a bunker post haste because this attack force is now coming up. We do have a couple of SCVs in the mix as well, or just one SCV there for Ganji. Now, unfortunately, those SCVs moving into the wrong position of the battle there. Now actually losing out to some of these Marines. These Marines being microed around beautifully by Ganji there. Still got 4 in the mix, 2 down to 3 in fact, and now this should be quite adequately defended for the rest of this potential attack here for Jimmy. But good little defense there, perhaps a little bit off with the micro of getting those SCVs into battle, but what he did was actually very good in terms of getting the SCVs down onto the ramp to make sure that the Marines could not escape. But now with this bunker up, Ganji should probably back off, and in back off he does. There he goes. So good defense there by Jimmy to make sure that that was deflected. Going to lift off, Ganji's going to lift off this racks and now float it around. In fact, he's actually going to send it towards Jimmy's base to get some scouting done. This is a pretty good thing because the racks do have 1000 HP, so they're actually quite huge in terms of scouting there. They're like, it's like floating in just a massive blob of nothing, but you do get to scout out. So Ganji now switching in, going back to something a little bit more standard here, getting that command center, the second command center built there for the natural expansion. A factory is on the way along with a reactor. I'm not going to be surprised if we see some more Hellion play here from Ganji. He has stuck with that for a lot of the MLG tournament, especially all of the Slayers players. So that is something which they have done a good job of. Now building the tech lab there, perhaps going to get the blue flame, or perhaps going to switch straight across and start getting out some of the infantry upgrades on the tech lab instead once that barracks floats over. But here comes, speaking of barracks floating over, here goes this first one here, scouting in, seeing that there's a nice count of SCVs there for Jimmy, and did not actually see. Oh, you would have seen the starport there. Yes, he did. And now this Rax is just going to sit off to the corner here. Not really going to cause too much of a problem for Jimmy, but just the fact that it's there could be quite annoying if he's not watching. Maybe we'll see the Rax drop in here. I'd be quite amused if we did see the Rax drop in the back and start building some Marines. But there we go. We do have that switch of the buildings there. The Marines are actually starting to pump out in greater numbers there for Ganji. He has switched over the starport, getting out a Raven. Interesting. Okay, so we'll probably see that he's going to be well prepared for this potential cloak Banshee that's going to come along here. I'm not sure if we're going to see an extra one. Normally when you do get the cloak, the Terrans like to get a second Banshee as well, because it does take 2 Banshees. You can build 2 Banshees in the same time that it takes to get cloak, roughly. So we'll probably see that, and we'll see if Ganji is well prepared for this. He is going to need to get either a few more Marines out to make sure he's got enough to take out those Banshees once they get into position, or perhaps grab a couple of turrets as well. But we'll see if he's which particular path he's going to go. He is getting starting to pop out a few tanks. Not getting the siege tank mode just yet. But he will have a lot of force there to deflect any potential attacks. And now scouting in again, he's going to try and drop this Rax down. There it goes, lifting him straight back up. The Marines come across from Jimmy, try and shoot down that Rax, but they're not going to get too much done given the current health of that Rax. But now Jimmy's Banshee is now floating in the DT of the sky, as Artosis would call it, or someone would call it. I can't remember who actually called it that. But Banshee now floating in here, taking out one SCV, taking out a second, maybe a third, before it has to fall back and hit. Where's that Raven? There it is, the Raven now. Ganji just sort of waiting off to the side. They're not actually sort of showing that he had the Raven for the detection. That was actually really nice. Trying to lure that Banshee in before it got too much damage done. And interestingly, this Rax is now landed, but the Banshee now getting inside and has to run away, running out of cloak soon as well. But looks as if Jimmy is actually going to commit to an attack here. Does not know that the Rax has actually landed inside his base. A Marine is about to pop out here. A Marine is already out there from Jimmy trying to take it out, but it's not going to do too well given that it's only one Marine. Now lifting up, cancelling that Marine, and lifting up, going to retreat for the moment here. But Jimmy is now attacking. These guys are going to pass across, but it really looks as if Ganji is in a much better position here. Does have 3 tanks to the 2 of Jimmy, and now with those Marines as well, he has had a lot of production capability again. So the Viking is going to provide air support there for these units, perhaps going to be taken out by these Marines though, but everything moving into battle, dropping a couple of auto turrets there which do huge amounts of damage for some weird reason. And now the Marines and the tanks have been absolutely decimated by Jimmy there, and I would say that is probably going to be it, because Ganji can push now and there is really nothing left for Jimmy to defend. And there is a GG, well played from Jimmy. So great little game there, good defense by Ganji to make sure he was well prepared for the Banshee attack with the Raven and the Viking, and then prepared for that ground assault as well. So unfortunately, we will see Jimmy drop out of these particular matches and lose these matches, but make sure you do jump around the MLG site to find some of the other MLG replays from Anaheim, and hope you guys enjoy these particular games. Cheers.